so now we have a middleweight matchup between Chris, the Action Man Curtis, and Joaquin Buckley. Shouts out to Chris Curtis, one of the first people to actually follow us here and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel way back when we started. I want to say the first month or something.
Yeah.
Showed us a lot of love. So shouts out to him. Right now he's 29-9, coming off of a loss against Jack Hermanson on a week's notice. Lost a decision, so it wasn't too bad. Jack just fought safe and did what he had to do to get the W. Chris Curtis stands 5'10". His reach is 75.5 inches. Then we go to Joaquin Buckley, who was 15-5, coming off of a loss to Nasruddin Imavov, which low-key Joaquin kind of dropped the ball on that one because that was a very winnable fight. And then as the fight progressed, it just seemed like it was more opportunities to win.
He let it slip away.
He let it slip away. But he's standing 5'10". His reach is 76 inches. So
they both kind of short, but they got long arms. Their arms long to say they both like 5'10".
To say they're middleweights.
Yeah.
So this is more than likely going to be a striking match. So let's just go look at the strikes. Oh my goodness. Well, first you can see Chris Curtis is landing 6 strikes per minute compared to Joaquin's 3.61.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be a striking match because Joaquin, he ain't no slouch when it comes to wrestling.
Low-key, Joaquin's wrestling has been getting better because when he fought Duraev, well, no, him and Abdul
both fights, man.
Him and Abdul wrestled a little bit, and then the Albert Duraev fight when he used his takedown defense. But then there was times when he was controlling Albert on the ground too. It seemed like he's starting to grapple a little bit more. Even he's been put in some bad positions where I think Nasruddin took his back or something at one point and was trying to choke him out. He was able to survive that. So the ground game has been looking better for Joaquin. But one thing that stands out is this right here, because Chris is more, he'll break you down. It's the volume, it's just the body punches, the walking you down. And then Joaquin, more likely, he loads up. Joaquin, what he likes to do is load up on punches. But unfortunately, there's not a jab. There's not a jab. And so oftentimes his combinations start off with a right hook or a left hook, and then you know a head kick is coming. And instead of just doubling up on the jab and backing your opponent up, so then they don't have that many places to go, they don't have that much space, he'll do it in open space in the center of the cage. He'll load up on hooks and try to finish with a high kick. People see that coming a mile away. We see that combination coming a mile away, man.
And also we said that Kevin Holland was unpredictable. If we thought he was unpredictable, imagine Joaquin is way more unpredictable, because there one fight where he knocked the guy with a spinning kick, and then other times he goes to the body, and other times he don't go to the body, and other times you never know what to expect from Joaquin. And then there's other fights where he take his opponent down, and it's like, what is going on?
But one thing that's interesting when I look at these strikes is, so Chris is landing 6 per minute compared to Joaquin's 3.61. Look at how many strikes Chris is absorbing per minute compared to Joaquin.
Well, most of them came in his last fight against Jack.
No, I think that was like that before then, because low-key Rodolfo was striking with him pretty good. One thing that concerns me is Joaquin is looking for knockouts. He's hunting for knockouts. And so every combination, you know that he's looking for that fight-ending strike. But the thing about that is you can see it coming a mile away. Every now and then, he can sneak it on somebody, but now that people know he's looking for it, like Nasruddin didn't fall for that at all. On the opposite, Chris, he absorbs a little bit of damage, because remember, when he fought Phil Hawes, he took a lot of damage before he knocked Phil out with one punch, almost. So Chris is very durable, and he's going to be looking to close the distance and fight on the inside and use body punches, get Joaquin against the cage, go to the body, mix it up, upstairs, downstairs. But Joaquin is going to be trying to throw low kicks, body kicks, head kicks, just different attacks. Man, this fight is very difficult to call, man.
Then on top of that, if you look at how Joaquin, how he lost in the past a lot of times, with the exception of the Nasruddin fight, which I thought that he probably should have won, not from the results. I thought he should have did a little bit more in the first round. But other than that fight, man, like, he got countered and got knocked out a lot of times. And Chris don't fight like that. Chris don't want to exchange with you. Chris gonna wait till you slow down. He's gonna really bully you. He's gonna bully you, man, and start to unload on you. So it's almost like, does Joaquin have the advantage when it comes to the striking? Because you gotta say, even Kevin Holland was countering him with the right hand. You remember?
Yeah.
Straight right. The Italian guy counter head kick. So everybody was catching him coming in. that was catching him, dude.
Man, this is so odd because Chris Curtis is an underdog, but his only loss in the UFC was a fight he took on short notice. How did that happen?
It's weird.
Then we look at the takedowns. Joaquin is averaging now 1.35, well, basically a takedown and an attempt per 15 minutes with 30% accuracy, but Chris has 100% takedown defense. So I don't think that's gonna play a factor. Joaquin wins 73% of his fights by knockout. Chris wins 57% by knockout. They really stand away from the ground. The decisions, Chris slight edge 39% compared to Joaquin Buckley's 27%. Okay, now it gets interesting. Let's look at these knockdowns.
Speaking of, I'm glad you said about the decisions because it seems like Joaquin Buckley doesn't really feel comfortable. Like he's not okay with winning decisions, and Chris is. This might be the deciding factor in this fight because Chris don't mind going 3 rounds. Okay, I'll take this split decision, majority decision. It seems like Joaquin, I want to get the knockout. Sometimes it can put him in bad positions in fights, man. He can end up getting finished or end up losing a decision.
And then especially when you look at some of the decisions he lost where he just needed a little bit more and he probably could have won.
Yeah,
it's real tough for me to call because I can't necessarily see Joaquin knocking Chris out like that.
Yeah.
And it would be different, bro, because I can see Joaquin putting a game plan together and sticking to it because Chris can get frustrated. We've seen Chris, he got frustrated against Rodolfo. Now, I think Rodolfo went 0 for 20 takedowns. Like, it was just awful. But Rodolfo's striking didn't look bad, but I also think that the striking looked better because Chris had to watch out for the takedowns. So because he defended all those takedowns, it opened up for Rodolfo's striking to look a little bit better. So I don't think that Joaquin will have that edge here. At the same time, we've seen Chris get frustrated when things don't go his way. And then it seems like...
We only seen it once, though, against Jack.
But that was the most recent.
Notice. Yeah, but that was on short notice and you fly halfway across the
No,
world.
he didn't. He did it against Rodolfo, too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Against Rodolfo, it's like if Rodolfo didn't stand in front of him and let him just rip to the body and rip to the head, it was like you could see the frustration. Yeah. And it seemed like he felt like maybe he was supposed to be getting Rodolfo out of there. Like if you look at the stats, the fight, it was kind of close on the feet.
Yeah, it was.
So that's actually the fight that Chris Curtis come in at. This is the thing. I can see Joaquin winning the decision if he was a decision fighter. With his style, I can see him pretty much doing almost whatever he want to do on the feet as long as he can do it for 15 minutes. The thing is, he has a knockout mindset, which then by the time we get to the decision, sometimes he might be behind because he didn't strike enough. Or like, what was the one guy that he fought that he knocked him out in the 3rd round? Antonio Arroyo. Remember the uppercut guy? He was hunting a knockout, and then it just so happened that Joaquin landed the knockout in the 3rd round, but he was about to lose a decision. And it ain't even because the other guy was just so much better. It's just the fact that Joaquin spent almost 15 minutes looking for a knockout instead of just outstriking the person. Chris can, like you said, Chris is willing to go 15 minutes. But unfortunately, he can be a little bit one-dimensional in his approach as well.
It's like a boxer approach.
And it almost like he wants you to be a punching bag and just kind of stand right there. And I can see Joaquin moving around a lot, not being in one spot for too long. Now, with that being said, I don't see Joaquin doing that and using no jab and working volume like he's supposed to. He's going to be moving around, but then at the same time, he's going to be loading up on strikes. We know that too. I didn't like this fight from the beginning for both fighters because I actually wanted both of them to bounce back with a W. But I know that in real life, they have some type of beef or something going on. This is just a fight that they wanted to make happen because they don't like each other, which is unfortunate because we like both of them. So what do you think, man, for the final decision?
Oh, what do I think? I can't see Joaquin finishing Chris Curtis because you remember he had fights even when he knocked out Jordan Wright. It took a lot for him to do that. It took multiple knockdowns. It took him to walk forward. He really had to earn a knockout. I can't see him doing it to Chris Curtis. I can see him knocking him down and hurting him, but I can't see that because Chris is going to always be like defensively disciplined.
Hey, didn't Chris Curtis get hurt against Jack Hermanson though?
He did, but he survived though.
Yeah, that's true.
He did get hurt though. He still got hurt,
but I think he was watching out for takedowns too. That's the thing with Chris Curtis. He got that 100% takedown defense.
It comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost of you never know if that person going to be standing up with you or going for a takedown, and then you defend the takedown, but then they go upstairs and then they hurt you. So, but he don't have to worry about that against Joaquin. I want to say Rodolfo, I don't think he hurt him. I don't want to say he didn't knock him down or nothing, but I want to say Rodolfo kind of hurt him slightly at one point. That fight was over the summer, but for the final prediction, man.
All right, I think what separates these two fighters is who Chris Curtis beat. The Brandon Allen, man, that fight is aging good, man. Like, is Joaquin on the same level as Brandon Allen? You got to ask yourself that, man.
And I felt like Chris Curtis was right about. He was top 15, huh?
Yeah, at one point. Yeah.
I think he had just broken the top 15 and was trying to beat Jack Hermanson to break into the top 10. And so, if he had a full training camp, the Jack fight might have been a little bit different. You know, you fly into a different country on a week's notice.
He thought he was going to beat him because his training partner beat him, Sean Strickland. So he thought he was going to go out there and do it too, man. But it's different, two different.
But then it looked like the other training partner, Roman Delise, did it last week, which is that's just crazy how that happened, that little triangle. But unfortunately, man, I think that just the tier of Chris's opponents has been a little bit higher. Even the Phil Halls, hey, that's aging good for Chris because, no, it's aging good for him because Roman, it took a little bit for Roman to beat Phil. Like, Phil had to mess up a whole lot, but Chris just kind of starched him. And it really, you know, I ain't saying that the Phil Halls' stock has increased and has aged well because of that. I'm saying the way Chris was able to just put him out. The Brendan Allen one, the Rodolfo, I mean... And then even when you look at his record, Loki, he lost to some. He beat Andre Filio. I don't know, man. This is just tough.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to go with Joaquin Buckley on this one because of the variety. The kicks, man, the body kicks. I don't think Chris gonna know what he's gonna be throwing. I don't think Joaquin know what he's gonna be throwing. I think it's enough to win. Also, that Nasruddin fight, he messed up at the end of the first round when he got taken down. If he wasn't for that, I think he won that fight. Because I think he won the third round. So it's like he would have won that first round and third round. He would have beat Nasruddin. And Nasruddin is that man right now.
They was fighting in France, though. He wasn't going to win no type of decision unless he...
No, but I'm saying it would have been close enough to where you can say, yeah, we know what happened.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I think it's enough for him to mix it up on Chris. Because sometimes Chris can kind of shell up, man. And
it's just not a boxing fight. And he kind of needs somebody who's going to stand in front of him. But I just don't think Joaquin going to stand in one place, man.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, Joaquin more of a final... I'm not going to say final way to lose, man. But he make way more mistakes than Chris Curtis.
Some of these fights should have been wins, man. And Chris' only losses coming from a top 10 opponent who he fought on short notice, man. I got to lean to Chris. I like both fighters, though, man. But...
yeah, I'm going with Joaquin, 3-round decision. I think the takedowns, I think it's going to be real close. I think it's going to be real close, but I think just the takedowns, he might get like 1 or 2 takedowns.
And they might edge it out.
And they might edge it out, man. He going to